All right, so we're going to go through the first 7 right now, and all of these questions are tied into the very first lesson that we have. This is from your textbook. It's 2-1, and it's ordering and comparing rational numbers. Okay, so we will have to do a little bit of fraction to decimal conversion, decimal to fraction. We'll have to be able to compare the two and order. All right, there wasn't really an example of ordering on here, but oops, I didn't do that right. Let me get this out of the way. That followed my hand down. All right. There we go. How's that? Much better. Okay, so to convert this to decimal, we always do top divided by bottom. It should be 3 divided by 11. 3 divided by 11 should look exactly like this. 3 divided by 11. I'm not going to show partial quotients on this one. Okay. I'm going to put up my decimal right away, put in my 0, and now we're looking at how many 11s go into 30. Okay. And it ends up being 2. And to be quite honest with you, it's how many 11s go into 3. And we'd say 2/10, but it's easier just to take out the decimal right now and look at the numbers, all right? So 2 times 11 is 22. We subtract, we have 8 left over, okay? Every time we subtract, after we get done subtracting, this leftover number, which in the past we'd call a remainder, has to be less than the number we're dividing by. We're okay there, so I'm going to add my 0, bring it down. How many times will 11 go into 80? And that would be 7 times. 7 times 11 is 77. We end up with 3 left over. We bring it down. And again, we'd say 2. We have 22 with 8 left over. And right now I can see that it's going to be a repeating decimal. Okay? So now here's the key thing. When we write repeating decimals, one, I know it has to be negative. I know that the digits 2 and 7 are going to be repeated. So my repeating sign has to cover both the 2 and the 7. If I just put the line over the 7, then it's going to be like 0.27 repeating. Okay? So we have to make sure that we put that line over both numbers. Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. Now the second one, we know at least we're going to have -3. And we could do 13 divided by 20, but if we really understand the way decimals work, we should be able to convert every fraction that's a tenth into a decimal. Every fraction that's 100th into a decimal. So instead of doing 13 divided by 20, I'm going to convert this into hundredths. Okay? 20 goes into 100 nicely. We can say 20 times 5, right? And then we're going to do the same thing up here, 13 times 5. 13 times 5 is 65. I do 5 times 10 is 50. 5 times 3 is 15. Put them together, I get 65. Now, if we have 65 hundredths, we should know that 65 hundredths is the same thing as, all right, everybody okay with that? So when we look at these tomorrow, let's just make sure. Can the number go into tenths? Can the number go into hundredths? If they can't, then we're going to have to do the division. Okay? Everybody in here should know what 1/3 is. Everybody in here should know what 2/3 is. Okay? The hardest one will be the eighths for you. Okay? Okay? And If you know 1/4, 1/8 is half of that. It's half of 0.25 or 25 hundredths. 1.25. Okay? All right. This is 3 and 42 over 100. Does everybody agree? Okay. Now it's not in simplest form, so I'm going to cut them both in half. Everybody okay with that? Everybody okay with that? Yes. Okay. This one is going to be negative 35 over 100. And I know that 5 goes into both those numbers, right? Okay. So it's going to be negative 7 over 20. All right. Then when we go to comparing, we have to remember we're dealing with negative numbers. Which number's closer to 0 in this one? So we should be right here. Okay. Again, which number's closer to 0? Because we're dealing with negatives. Your skateboard ramp is 2 3/8 feet high. Your friend's skateboard ramp is 2 2/5 feet high. Which skateboard ramp is higher? A couple different ways that we can do this. Maybe the simplest way is common denominators, right? How many kids use common denominators to determine? How many kids converted to decimals here? Anybody convert to decimals? Okay. So when I'm looking at 1/8 and 5ths, many of us just go to 40ths. Is that right? So 2 2/5 is the same thing as 2 and 16 over 40. Okay. And 2 3/8 is the same thing as 2 and 15 over 40. So the higher skateboard ramp is your friend's. Everybody okay with that? Okay. So there we go. There is your review for lesson 2.1 from Big Ideas, comparing and ordering rational numbers. Let's start working on problem number 8, please. 8. And I'm going to give you about 10 minutes for the next one. Number 8 through about 13.